Jose, welcome to the
Hey,
show.
man. Thank you. Thanks for the invitation.
Heck yeah, man. It's great to meet you. Dude, your work is phenomenal. Huge
Oh,
fan.
man. Thanks so much.
Yeah, I've been
I'm
following
a
you for
big
a
fan
long
of you,
time.
man.
Oh, I appreciate that. I
Yes.
appreciate that. That means a lot. Yeah, I've been following you for a while. You know, what I love about your work is just that juxtaposition between abstract and realism. I've tinkered with that myself in my career, but you've like taken to another level. It's just really sophisticated.
Thank you. That means a lot. Means a lot coming from you, man.
So where are you living now? Where are you from?
I'm in a little village, northern Spain. It's called Torme.
You're in
Just a 50.
Spain.
I'm in Spain right now, yes.
Is that where you're born and raised?
I was born in Mexico, but I was raised in Madrid.
What? Tell me about that. How'd you end up going
Well,
from
it's a long
Mexico to
story. Yeah,
Madrid?
yeah. So when I was 6, we decided to come to Spain because Mexico, it was very, very insecure. So my family and I just decided to come here because we have family here, and it was just easy. It was like the obvious decision for us to come here and make a living here.
No kidding. What did your parents do?
My dad had a restaurant in Mexico,
No kidding. And he just picked
and
up right.
he started working for like I think he was working when he first arrived, selling machines house to house, and then he
Really?
went on. He started working in a restaurant, in a Mexican restaurant, from the very beginnings. Washing dishes, and then as time went on, he ended up being the not the owner, the manager,
Okay.
and yeah. But in the end, that didn't work, and he went back to the U.S.
He did, but you stayed.
And I stayed with my mom. And then she opened a jewelry business.
What a story. That's wild.
Man, it's crazy. Yeah, I've been going back and forth all my life.
You have back and forth
Yeah.
from Spain to Mexico or
Mexico,
Spain to US?
Spain, and the US.
Really? Are you do you also
Yes.
have, are you a citizen of the US as well?
No.
Just Spain and Mexico.
Yep. Unfortunately, no.
Okay.
But my brothers are. My brothers are because they have been in the US for a long time.
No
They
kidding.
are my little brothers. Yeah.
So you said you had family in Spain. So are you Spanish descent?
So my grandfather was born in this little village,
Really?
and when he was 18, he went to Mexico to work and send money back to his family.
What? Are you
Yeah.
serious?
Yes. He
No
went on a
kidding.
ship. I think it was like the trip was like 1 month, 2 months. I don't know how long it was,
So
but it
things were
took him a
better.
while.
Okay, forgive my ignorance, but things economically were better in Mexico than they were in the village in Spain.
Yes, because it was during the Civil War, if I'm not mistaken. And things
Gotcha.
were very bad here. Yep.
Okay. That's
But then
wild.
it went worse in Mexico, and then we came back to Spain.
So do you feel like Spain is your home now? I mean, you must. You
Absolutely.
were 6 years old.
Absolutely.
Okay. Man,
Yes.
dude, I don't know what's in the water in Spain, but there is a lot of good art coming out of Spain.
Oh, really?
You haven't noticed? Well, I mean, there's the
Well,
obvious ones like Antonio Lopez Garcia, and
yes.
then all the people that follow him. I'm not great with names, but there's like Galucho.
There's a movement.
Yeah. There's a movement of this sort of contemporary realism in Spain.
Yes, I can see that. I've seen that. Yes.
Yeah, it's wild.
And
man.
I think it's like a branch, like Antonio Lopez started a branch yeah, like a movement. And then many people just took part and made it their own and
Mm-hmm.
expanded on it.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever met him?
Yes, once in a famous art store in Madrid.
Really? You
I
just
was
ran
just
into him.
Yeah, I was just ordering some canvas, and then he came in, and I said, Antonio, like I have the same name as you. I'm Antonio Lopez as well. He's like, oh, okay, okay, whatever. And I told him, man, I studied in Florence, I studied in New York, and he's like, uh-huh.
He
And then
probably
he
gets
just
that all the
left.
time.
Yeah, probably, yeah, definitely. He just bought his thing and he left.
Wait, but your name is
That was
okay. You have the same
So I
middle
am
name,
Jose
Lopez.
Antonio. I'm
Oh,
Jose Antonio Lopez, but I only use Jose Lopez
oh,
Vergara.
okay. Yeah,
So
that's a
yeah,
lot of That's a lot of words.
right,
Jose
right.
Antonio Lopez
An
Vergara.
Instagram handle is too long.
Yeah, that's long. I'm really lucky in that area. Jeff Hein, 2 syllables,
Jeff Hein,
easy
right?
peasy.
I'm jealous of
Oh
yes.
no way, man!
I'm
Your
jealous
your
of
name
you.
is
And
so much more
people
artsy.
they tell me that.
Yeah,
But I don't know why I don't see it. I don't know.
yeah. Well, it's your name. It's hard to
Yes.
appreciate your own name. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
So tell me about your art journey. How did you decide to become an artist?
I think when I was very small, I I liked it. I just like to draw.
Mm-hmm.
No, I think every artist has the same story, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
You draw as a kid and then you continue drawing. The thing that I had is that my parents were very supportive, and my mom, she's an artist, and she was always pushing me to make more and make different. You try different materials and
Really?
different. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So she's always, even now, she's always trying to make me try new things, be more creative.
No kidding.
Right? And when I was 8 years old, I fell from the monkey bars in the park.
Mm-hmm.
So I fell from one of those because I was jumping like crazy. I wanted to reach the fourth bar and I slipped and I fell down and I broke my arm in two pieces.
Oof.
And I suffered, yeah, it was a very bad injury. And I went to the hospital for a month. I had 7 surgeries. It was
7?
crazy. Yeah, because it got complicated. I had
Dude,
like
was it a compound fracture? Did you see bone sticking out?
yes, I thought it was a stone. I looked at my arm and I
Oh,
told my dad, I told him, I have a stone. I have
oh,
yeah, yeah, yeah. And he's like, no, 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 that's your bone.
oh my gosh. No dad should have to see that. That would be
Right,
terrible.
that's crazy. Yeah, I know it's crazy. And we just rushed to the hospital. He was with us four because we were four brothers, and I was the oldest. Then I had my twin little brothers and my sister, and he had to grab all of us, get in the car, and rush to the hospital.
Jeez, dude. I don't know how he
That was
kept his
crazy.
composure. My
I
daughter
don't know.
broke her lip open once and I was like, "Oh, dude, I can't see that." I don't have a weak stomach, but when it's your kids,
Yeah, yeah,
oh,
yeah, yeah.
dude, your
I
bones
can see
sticking
it.
out. Oh,
I don't know how he does it.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I cut my chin open when I was a kid. I was playing football and
All right.
I ran into, it was like wet out because it was raining and the grass was wet and we were playing right alongside of a parking lot. And
Uh-huh.
some dude tried to tackle me. We both slipped on the grass and my chin hit the fin of a Corvette.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it sliced right open. But you know how when you get hurt, like you probably know this because you thought your arm had a stone on it, but like it doesn't hurt
You
really
don't
that
feel
much
it.
right away.
You
Yeah.
don't feel it. Yeah.
So I like grab my chin and I feel this wedge in it, and I'm like, that's not good. And then the blood starts pouring down my arm, and I feel the warmth of the blood.
And how old was you? How old were you?
I was what was I, 14? But that doesn't matter. The point
14,
is the
14,
other
right?
guy. I'll tell you about the other guy. So, because it's not that bad of an injury, but it was gross enough looking that when I pulled my hand away from my chin, because all the guys in the football field were like, "Dude, you're bleeding, you're bleeding." So I pulled my hand away from my chin, and this dude standing right in front of me passed out cold. He was just like,
No way.
I was
Shit.
like, and then I was scared out of my mind. I start running home, cutting through yards. I had a German Shepherd
That's the
chasing me,
worst. That's
biting
the
my butt.
worst. That's the worst. Even when you know you can handle blood, when it happens,
Yeah.
you shake like crazy.
I couldn't even believe it. I was more concerned about him. He just hit the ground so hard, just bam. It was
Oh my
funny.
God,
It wasn't
man.
even that big of an injury. It was just gross looking, apparently. But anyway, I don't know how your dad did it because this kid
I
couldn't
don't know
even handle
because
me.
he usually doesn't stand blood either.
Wow.
So, but it's like adrenaline. Like I have to get him to the hospital now.
So
How
how did
like
that affect your future?
Well, I think in the hospital, I just had a lot of time to just to do nothing,
Oh, okay.
and what I did was just draw.
How old are
So
you?
I was 8.
No, how old are you now?
I'm 30.
Okay, so you weren't, forgive me, man. So I'm 20 years older than you, but most American kids would have been playing like a video game or something or playing, but you didn't do that sort of thing. You sat there and drew.
Yeah, I mean, I would play video games, but I had my arm. I had like a,
Oh, so you
how
couldn't
do
use
you
both
call this
hands.
thing? I couldn't. I remember one time I taped my finger to a button and I would play like that, just with my hand taped to the controller.
That's classic.
I did, because they had video games in the hospital, but I preferred just to draw.
Really?
Yeah,
So,
always.
okay, so after that, how did you go from just liking drawing to having the courage to make it a living? That's a big step.
That's a big jump. I mean,
Yeah.
yes. I don't know. I guess every like age, like when I was 8 to 10, I used to just draw color pencils, and these little figurines like the Warhammer.
Like the what?
Warhammer.
Warhammer?
The Yeah, Warhammer.
Is that like a
It,
character?
no, they're little figurines, like plastic figures that
Oh,
you
no, I'm not
paint
familiar.
with a very tiny brush,
Oh, really?
like
You
the
would do
Lord of the
those?
Rings and Dungeons and Dragons, all this kind of stuff.
Uh-huh.
So I would just have some acrylic paints, very tiny, tiny little brushes, and I would just paint in the afternoons.
Wow.
And then when I grew, I started using spray paint because that was the cool thing to do,
You
right?
tag in
When
buildings and stuff?
of course, absolutely. So, but when I look back, it's interesting because I never stopped doing things related to painting. Yeah, so I started painting with spray paint in high school, and then in college, I just was bored of every subject, every class. So
What did you
I
study in
would
college?
nothing, just the basics.
Okay.
And before I started my second year, one of my teachers told me, my art teachers, he said, you know what, you need to leave because here you're not going to do anything.
Hmm.
And I would spend all my afternoons drawing with color pencils and just trying to, just for fun, just because I liked it. I didn't even, I wasn't even thinking about making it a career.
Really? You'd never thought about it at that point?
Not really, because I didn't know how.
Yeah.
It was impossible for me. What are you going to do?
Huh.
And that was when Instagram was starting to really be popular. I think it was 2013. And I started an account and I said, you know what? I'm going to put everything I do on Instagram. And there was this contest of a big artist. It was about drawing eyes, realistic eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, okay, I'm going to try it. And I drew a realistic eye and I won the contest.
Really?
And he published me in many, many places because he had a lot of followers back then. I think now he has even more, but one of the prizes was getting the exposure. And then one editor of a magazine saw it and she published it in a magazine, and then it went crazy.
Is this still
So
on your Instagram account?
that's not on my Instagram because I changed Instagram.
Oh, okay.
Because this is a whole story. This drawing went viral like crazy. Like
Just a drawing of an eye.
newspapers. Yes, well, I had like 3 or 4.
Really?
But newspapers from India, people from India sent me pictures of the newspaper where my eye drawings were printed on the newspaper.
What?
And then in China, news from China were talking about my drawings.
What do these
And I
things
was
look
like,
like?
what the hell, man? What, the eye drawings?
Yeah.
They're just eye drawings. You can look for Jose Vergara eye drawing color pencil.
Okay, we got to find these. This is crazy. Oh, so they
It's
were in
funny
color.
because yes, Prismacolor.
That's wild. Wonder what it was. I mean, obviously they must have been good, but wonder what it was that made them catch on like that and go viral.
I think because Instagram was barely starting, there was very little of this, and I just
All right,
I
let's
just did
look
what
for it together
everyone
here.
else was doing. Yes, you see,
So, do you see it in here?
all of those eyes,
Yeah.
all of them.
These are all yours?
Yes,
Are you
not that
kidding?
one, but all of those. Yeah, put the image with the many eyes. That one, yeah.
This is it?
That's it, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's impressive, man. And you were what, like 20?
No, I was 19. Yeah. Okay.
Dude, you got some natural talent, man.
Man,
Holy
but
moly.
that was funny because I started getting a lot of commissions, and all the commissions were like, please draw eyes of my daughter or of my husband or of my mom. So I started earning money as an artist doing these commissions.
You're kidding me. Just the eye of a individual?
That's it.
What?
And that's how I realized, okay, maybe I can do something here.
That's remarkable, man.
That's why I dropped out of college, because I was already making money off my drawings, which was crazy.
Yeah, it
And
is
I
crazy.
said, I'm not gonna study English or math or anything. I don't care. I'm already making money. So
I mean, were you
I'm gonna
making good enough money to support yourself at that point, or were you living
no,
at
no,
home?
no. I was living at home.
Okay.
But I was making enough money for me to say, you know what, if I take this seriously, maybe I can do something.
Wow, man. What a lucky break.
Oh, that was crazy.
That's wild.
And you know what? In those years, when a big page featured your work on Instagram, you would get like 5,000 followers in 2 hours.
I
My
know.
phone
Times
would
have changed,
crash.
man.
It was crazy. Yeah. It was so crazy for me. But then, you know, I was afraid people were gonna recognize me only as the eye painter.
Yeah.
So I stopped completely.
Ooh, that was brave.
I said, you know what? Because people were already naming me. Oh, you're the eye guy, and I was yes, but I didn't really like that.
That was a smart move, man, because I don't know if you've noticed, I'm sure you have, but with social media, this hyper-realism thing it's gone crazy. It's like there's so
crazy.
much of it out there. So that pivot was probably the best pivot you've ever made.
Yes, I didn't really want to do that. And I only did the eyes because they were a way of showing my skill somehow.
And where did you acquire the skill? Was it just totally just your practice as a kid? That's it?
Oh, I think so. Yeah.
That's remarkable. I got to pull these up again. I'm just staring at them as we're talking. Dude, that's remarkable. I love this one right here that you can see the landscape in your
Uh-huh.
eye, in the eye.
And you see, that's my dad's eye. Then there's my mother's eye, my teacher's eye. I
That's
would take photos of
remarkable.
them and then just draw.
Are these bigger than life?
Yes, they are like A4.
Oh, they're big. Okay. So that helps in getting that illusion.
Yeah, absolutely.
Man, that's
But people
remarkable.
nowadays can do crazy stuff with color pencils. That was amateur compared to what they do now with color pencils.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Pretty damn
Oh
good,
man,
dude.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
I guess I don't really follow colored pencil art very much, but it looks pretty impressive to me. Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So what did you pivot to?
So after that, you mean?
Yeah.
After that, I started making drawings with color pencils, the same, but I would
Mm-hmm.
make skulls or dead roses or, because I've always had a dark, I think, style.
Mm-hmm.
But I've always, even now, I think I'm afraid of showing completely what my creativity, what I actually think, what I actually want to make. Because maybe sometimes I think it's going to be too dark, or, you know,
Mm-hmm.
I've struggled a lot throughout my life as an artist to actually create work that I'm happy with.
Oh yeah, join the club, man. I don't think
Absolutely. I know that's what
yeah.
everyone thinks. Absolutely.
Yeah, but it sounds like your situation's a little bit different than some in that, correct me if I'm wrong, but are you saying that had if you didn't have to make any money at all, if you didn't have to sell paintings, your work would be a lot more dark and edgy, or even a little
Probably.
more dark and edgy?
Yeah.
Really?
But you know what I've learned, what I've realized a couple months ago? I
Mm-hmm.
said, you know what? If I'm going to do the best work I can, it needs to be something I'm happy with. It doesn't matter if it sells or not. It doesn't matter if it has likes or not.
This was just a couple months ago.
Yeah.
So have you done anything that we can see since then that's different?
I felt like I started from zero again.
Oh, dude,
And
that's
I've been
scary.
working on many compositions. I have a show in New York at the end of the year, and I
Yeah.
think I think the paintings are gonna be closer to what I actually want to do.
It's Arcadia, I'm assuming,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
Are
yeah.
they on board with, not that it matters, but I'm just curious what their attitude is. Are they on board with you
There,
making a complete change right now?
I think it's being progressive because this is not gonna be a it's not gonna be a shock of a change. I think it's gonna be progressively more my own
Okay.
or what I actually see in my mind.
Can you give us some clues as to what the differences are?
I think in previous work I've always used a lot of color. My paintings have been colorful,
Mm-hmm.
and now my palette has changed. Now I'm using more pale tones, more blacks and browns and grays. The skin maybe is not as bright.
Hmm. Man, I can't wait to see this. You got nothing online at
Well, this is
all.
gonna be this is gonna be one of those,
That
actually.
figure behind you?
Yeah, that's in preparation for one of the paintings. Yeah.
So tell me about that. What kind of prep work are you doing? What kind of prep work does your process require?
So you know what I also realized was that the things I wanted to paint were very difficult to find. So I couldn't find references to paint what I wanted to paint.
I don't understand. Like what? What
So
things?
imagine, for example, in my latest painting, I painted a wolf that was very like skinny and
Ah.
very, you know, and
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't find anything like that, so I had to make it. I did a sculpture in clay, and
Mm-hmm.
that way I had it in front of me. I could use different lighting, and I could play with color in Photoshop, but I had it in front of me.
I've done the same thing with animals.
Right. So
Yeah.
that was the only way I could think of to be able to paint what I want to paint.
But
So
there's a
what I'm
figure behind you,
realizing,
though. There's figures are accessible.
the figures, what do you mean?
There's a human figure. That drawing you pointed to is a human figure. So,
Yes.
so are you working
But
with photography? And if so, what is the use of the drawing study?
okay, so the figure I want to create, the figures I want to create are not, they're very idealized.
Okay.
And then I want to include armors, like medieval armors or swords,
Are
or
you going to build that stuff? Make your own armor?
how can you paint an armor if you don't have it, right?
Oh,
So
dude, you're
that's
talking my
why it's so
language.
difficult,
Yeah.
man. But then how are you gonna paint a knight on top of a horse, but like a big ass horse,
Yeah.
and doing a kind of gesture that you want, holding the sword that you want, because it's not any sword, it's not any landscape, and then everything is idealized. So I have to find a way to make all of this real, because I can't go to the zoo and take a photo of a horse and use that photo, because that horse I don't want to paint.
So are you going to
My
sculpt
horse,
a horse too?
right? So that's the only way. I can't think of any other way.
Yeah. I mean, there's a long history in that. That's the way a lot of artists did it before
Uh-huh.
cameras.
Yeah, and they've done an incredible job. I mean, I've seen Frederick Leeton.
Mm-hmm.
He used to do that, and he achieved insane quality paintings by using clay sculptures. I don't understand how, but I mean, I want to,
I mean,
you know.
I mean, all it is, I mean, not to make, it's not easy because you have to sculpt well, right?
You have to
But
sculpt.
all it is a sculpture without color. I mean, I'm sorry. All it is a horse without color if you do it right. So
Mhm.
the only improvisation you have to do is the color. The color's the easiest part of painting anyway, I think.
Yeah, I mean, once you have the structure and the values, color
Right.
is nothing.
Right.
But you know what? I think I've taken a long time to decide, because how are you gonna, if you want to paint a horse with a knight
Mm-hmm.
and you have a month to make that painting, that's not possible, because only the sculpture is gonna take a month and something.
Oh, I know, dude. Yeah.
So working with a gallery, you need to be productive.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't, I wasn't able to. I felt like I was never gonna be able to make this kind of work because I had to be so productive. So I was putting it to the side,
Mm.
and I was focusing on making a kind of work that I could do maybe in a month or less. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I know what you mean. When I I stopped using photography back in 2008. I'm back to it again. I went 14 years without it. But when I stopped, a painting that would take me a month to do, because my paintings have always been sort of large. So I would do like
Mm-hmm.
an 8 foot tall painting. It would take me about a month. Um,
Uh-huh.
and then at the time, but they were garbage. So I could never paint one in a month today because I'm working a lot harder on them, but that's not the point. But anyway, it would take me about a month, and then I stopped using photography and had to do all these processes of like
Uh-huh.
sculpting animals and making maquettes and building sets and everything else. It went from a month to like a year overnight, the
Yes.
amount of time that went into it. It was
That's what I'm afraid
insane.
of.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
afraid of.
But you know what? My experience was like, I had a major pay cut. It went down by like 2/3. It was brutal.
Mm-hmm.
But we still survived. And then eventually my
Okay.
pay caught up and surpassed it.
Okay.
So for me, it worked out okay. It hurt in the beginning for a couple years,
Hmm.
but eventually
Okay, I can see that.
people were willing to pay the prices that could justify doing it that way, you know?
Because they notice. You can see it clearly.
I think they
I
did.
mean,
Yeah.
the quality of the work is something different.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm
Yeah, so that's what
excited for
I'm
you.
I'm 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 just jumping all in.
Is it just me or the rest of you guys also get weirdly excited when you order new paint? Because I don't know about you, but when I get paint in the mail, it feels like Santa just dropped my Christmas presents off at my doorstep. With Vasari paint, my paint of choice and the podcast sponsor, it's even more exciting. And let me show you why. Because when Vasari shows up, it comes in this incredible box where each tube lays in this little compartment perfectly formed around the tube in this nice soft foam. And it's surrounded by velvet, red velvet. Now you got to ask yourself, if a paint comes so carefully protected and surrounded by red velvet, you got to wonder if this paint is worthy of royalty. It is. Vasari is. So if you haven't tried Vasari, you're seriously missing out. And the thing about Vasari, it's not only the best paint out there, it's also made by an incredible company that's been around for 30 years and knows its customer by name. Do yourself a favor, go to vasaricolors.com and order yourself some for your next painting. So there's an artist, I'm trying to remember her name. Here, she's right here. But she does stuff where imaginative type stuff.
Uh-huh.
Her name is, I've met her before in person. She's a Scandinavian.
Yes.
Theodora
Yeah, yeah.
Daniela Kapat or what? I don't know how to pronounce it.
Oh, she's amazing. She's
Yeah.
really amazing.
She is, but she does that kind of stuff. Like, let me see, where I don't know how she's doing it. Where like this, she's putting together these fantastical paintings that
Compositions.
Yeah, like this kind of stuff.
Uh-huh.
And this kind of stuff. Like she's not just taking a picture of a horse. Look at that.
No.
Yeah. Have you ever talked to her about
definitely
her
not.
process?
I've talked to her, but not about her process.
Yeah, I wonder how she puts these
No.
together.
You know what I think also? I think if you have a strong imagination, you could make a decent painting, and it can look like you had a reference.
Man, I couldn't. I couldn't paint a horse head like this from imagination. I mean,
maybe if you had two references of a horse, and then you try to more or less.
Maybe. I don't know. The problem is sculpture, you don't need to worry about light logic. It's light logic that seems impossible to capture.
Yeah.
Because all the artists that I know of that are great at making stuff up, that I know of anyway, they do, it's like comic book artists where they do sort of a vague representation of light. It's not particularly naturalistic. It's just, you know what I mean? I mean, they're incredible.
But sometimes it looks real, completely real.
Yeah.
Maybe not in comics, but in illustration.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but don't those illustrators use photo reference? The ones that are really real? I don't know.
When there's two dragons fighting an elephant, I don't know how they do it. But it looks real.
Fair. That's fair.
That's insane.
That's true. I don't know, man. I don't have that. I've never been able to paint something like this from imagination. That would be insane.
But you know what? Concept artists, they learn all of that in school, I guess. I mean, they have a great way to teach how light behaves in different textures, different landscapes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how, I don't know what they study, but I know that concept art looks real. But it's not real because that doesn't exist. What they draw.
Yeah, I don't know how they do it either. Yeah. Yeah, it's remarkable. Yeah, I'm gonna be excited to see what you come up with.
Yeah.
This is gonna be fun to follow.
Little by little, I think.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna jump too fast into this thing.
So your show that you're gonna have in Arcadia down the road, did you say it's about a year away?
It's in November.
It's in November. Are you going to have a mixture of your older
I
style
think
and your new stuff?
I think it's gonna be the new stuff only,
Really?
but it's subtle. It's like a subtle
Mostly just the color stuff.
color stuff. Maybe some compositions, maybe some stories behind the painting.
Oh my gosh, man, I'm dying to see these. It's going to be interesting.
So there's a lot of meaning coming to my work. I think.
Okay, so I just pulled up the slideshow. So this painting in
Yes.
the slideshow, that's pretty well, it's gone now, but that one didn't have a lot of color.
Exactly. So that was closer to what I feel is gonna
Okay.
be in the future.
Okay. Gotcha.
You see, this is colorful. All of this is very colorful.
Yeah. And that was so all right, let me pull up your Instagram real quick cuz I'm curious
Nice.
about this. So these oh, so this is one of these compositions. So you do have some of it.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Wow. And you sculpted this wolf this way.
Uh-huh.
Wow. And then
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so do you sculpt the wolf, photograph the mother and child, put it together in Photoshop? I mean, how do you
Uh-huh.
Frankenstein this whole thing together?
I mean, it depends on the painting, but yeah, more or less, like you said, I would take photos of her
Mm-hmm.
and then just use Procreate to find a background or draw it myself. And then, yeah, take a photo of the sculpture and trying to play with colors, draw on top of the photo and, until I have something I like. Mostly Procreate. I don't use Photoshop.
So you do a lot of digital painting.
Yeah.
So when you showed me those eyes, you said that
Hmm.
you had learned that on your own just from drawing as a child. But then
Yes.
but this obviously is a lot different. Now you're painting, you're not using colored pencil.
Yeah.
How did you learn how to paint?
Okay, so when I was in college making my eye drawings, and when I dropped out, that's when I started looking for schools, some place just to learn how to paint with oil paint. Because I actually wanted to be an oil painter.
Yeah.
Like if I wanted to be something, I wanted to be an oil painter. So first I was going to go to Germany. I was going to go to the Netherlands, to Chicago, to the Art Institute of Chicago, because I didn't know about Atelier.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea ateliers existed. And I actually went to Chicago twice, but
Just to
I
check
was
out
expecting
the
just
school
to
or
check out, yeah, 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 and to enroll, but it was too expensive. And
mm-hmm.
I was hoping they give me a scholarship, but but the scholarship they gave me was like 5,000 US dollars,
Yeah.
and I needed like 70,000.
God, it's so expensive. And then they just would have taught you to make noodle necklaces anyway.
Yeah, 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 whatever. Yeah, well, terrible, terrible.
Yeah.
But then one night, I remember I found the Angel Academy in Florence. Actually, I found the Florence Academy first, and then I found Angel Academy. And for some reason, I preferred to go to Angel.
So that's
I
where
think
you
it
ended
was
up?
yeah,
Really?
yes, yes, yes.
I wonder if you're the first one on the show that went to Angel. Maybe not the first.
No, I think you had Teresa.
Oh, that's right. Teresa
Yes,
Oaxaca went to Angel?
I think so. If no, maybe I don't know. Now that you say,
No, I
I'm
know
not
I've had
sure.
someone that gone to Angel, but now I can't remember who it is. But I've had a lot of people go to Florence. So what was it about
Yeah.
Angel? I mean, I know it's a great atelier, but what was it that appealed to you?
You know what? I didn't like the college vibe of the Florence Academy. I think there were too many people. The space was too big.
You could tell all that stuff on Google?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
also the application was more like applying to a college instead of a different kind of school. It felt like an American college. I think that's what I think.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I can remember. But I think what I liked most about Angel was that it was small, and also the refinement of the work was higher. They would paint more detail, and it was more refined overall. What I saw in the website at the time,
Mm-hmm.
and I said, okay, this is my place. I have to go.
Doesn't Angel also sort of dip in a little bit to multi-figure painting, or no?
Not in the program, but Angel Michael John Angel, he loves that stuff. He loves compositions, and
Okay.
he's into that, and he sometimes would give lectures on that.
Okay. Yeah.
But it's not in the main course.
Right. So I'm assuming that was a positive experience then going to Angel.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. It was amazing.
What kinds of things did you get from it that you feel like you couldn't have gotten somewhere else?
I mean, I think one of the most important was just using the material, getting to know the material and be able to control it.
Mm-hmm. Did you go right into paint, or they have you do like a 2-year drawing program?
No, we did bark drawings, and then we did casts with charcoal. And I think the first year was only drawing.
Did they do site size at Angel?
They do site size, yes.
Okay. Was that different for you because you already knew how to draw? Was it strange for you to do the site size thing?
No, I went there like a sponge, like with zero.
Just totally open mind. I'll do whatever you tell me.
Completely open. Yeah. You tell me what to do, and I will do it.
That's the way it needs to be. Yeah.
Yeah, because when the first day I entered the school, I said, if you ask me to paint that or draw that with graphite, that would be impossible for me. Like, I was surprised by the quality of the drawings.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, I'm gonna do whatever you say. And then I took it. It was very fast. I went fast because if you finish your projects sooner, then you go on sooner to the next ones. You don't have to wait until everybody else is finished.
Oh,
right?
good.
So the faster you are, the faster you're gonna finish the whole program.
So how long did it take you to finish the program?
I think it took me 2.5 years, maybe 3 years.
Damn, dude, that's fast.
I only went to school and came back and slept and go to school and came back.
Wow.
I didn't do anything else.
No social life at all.
Absolutely no. I went on to party sometimes, but mostly I would only go to school and stay until very late and come back and sleep.
What do you think it was about you that made you such a hard worker?
I think I was always very conscious of the effort that my father was making to support me.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to demonstrate that I could do something with his effort.
So your dad was helping you with tuition for the Angel. Okay.
Yes.
Man, how many students though, their parents pay for stuff and then they just party? That's pretty cool.
I couldn't permit that.
Yeah.
And by the end of the program, I would sell a painting here or there, and I would pay for my tuition sometimes when I could. And there was a way of showing him, you know what, this is working.
Was he worried?
He's never been worried.
Really?
He's like a rock. He's always being supportive, always.
But
of anything I do.
He didn't buy into this whole starving artist stereotype and think, oh my gosh, my son's being a complete irresponsible moron. No. Why
He
do you
said, "You
suppose
want to
that
do
is?
this?" Uh, he has a complete faith in me. I don't know,
That's amazing.
but that's what I want to do with my kids. I mean, that's insane when I think about it. If I didn't have that support, everything would be very different.
Now, see, if you've listened to the podcast, you've heard me talk about my situation where my parents were like, "You're crazy," but they're incredibly supportive parents. But they're like, "You're crazy. You can't make a living as an artist." Um. So my question is, yeah, your father might believe in you,
Mm.
but if you had come to him, and you might be the most capable person in the world to your father might think you're like the smartest, most capable human being ever born on the planet Earth.
Mhm.
But if you came to him and said, "Hey, Dad, what I want to do is I want to live on Jupiter and sell coffee mugs to aliens," like
Uh-huh.
at some point, even if you're the most capable kid in the world, your parents are going to go, "Okay, well, that's not possible." Right? Now you
Uh-huh.
gotta,
Right.
right? So what was it that did he have some insight? Maybe it's living in Spain. I mean, I don't know what the culture's like
You
there,
know
but
what? I've always drawn. I've always made something with my hands. I've always been an artist, right? Or I've always painted.
yeah,
So he's like, okay, I'm sure he's going to continue painting because I always demonstrated him that there's only one thing I'm passionate about at this level, and it
yeah,
is drawing or painting. So he must have felt like, okay, like, I wasn't confused.
yeah.
I
Well,
wasn't
and he
trying to
also saw
choose
you
one thing or the other.
already go viral. That had to help a little too.
And he saw some exactly.
Yeah.
He saw some things already happen, so even more he was okay, let's do it.
Wow.
You've demonstrated that you can, I don't know, do something.
Sounds like a good man. All right. So after you finished at Angel Academy, what was your next step?
So by the end of Angel Academy, I I felt like I needed more, more
More
instruction,
education?
more education, yes.
What did you feel like you didn't get? Or were
A
you just
figure,
hungry?
I was hungry, but I also felt like I didn't know how to paint a figure. I didn't know
Oh,
much of.
do they not focus on that at Angel Academy?
Yeah, but the process is so long that you in 3 years maybe do 4 figures, like
Oh, I
fully
see what you're
rendered.
saying. Because you mean each individual figure painting is hundreds of
It
hours.
it takes too much because it's layer by layer. You do one layer to and finish, and then you do another layer and you finish, and it's like the process is cut into small little pieces, and every piece is a layer.
Wow.
So it takes a long, too much time.
So you wanted to figure out how to paint the figure more efficiently.
Right.
So
So
what?
and on Instagram, I Grand Central was getting a lot of attention. In At that time, I started looking at the work.
Yeah, they produce some remarkable work.
The best the best I saw at the time.
Now, they're not exactly known for painting fast and efficiently, though, right? I mean, they're a great
No.
school. Don't get me wrong. But if you're looking to paint figures quickly, were you under the assumption that you would get that from Grand Central, or did you get that from Grand Central?
Yes, I did get that because
Really?
Colleen Berry was doing a
Oh, Colleen
structure
Berry. Yeah. Yeah.
class, and I said I need to learn that. I don't know I don't know how, but I need to go there and learn from her.
Really?
Basically, that's the reason I went to New York, just to study with her.
Yeah, she's remarkable.
Mm.
So good.
And we painted, we drew figures like crazy, one after the other, and it was pretty fast.
Really? So she
Yeah.
just sort of modified a curriculum a little bit just for your needs.
I mean, at the time, yeah, there was a structure class, and she was teaching to draw a figure efficiently and better than a figure that would take 1 month.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I felt like I got what I wanted to get.
That's great. I didn't realize that was available there.
Yeah, I mean, because after we also did the window shading method,
Mm-hmm.
but I only did half a figure in all my time in Grand Central.
With the window shading method.
Yeah, yes, it was great to learn and a great experience, but it was not for me.
So what did you do full value figures without the window shading then? And you
Yes,
did that under Colleen Berry's tutelage.
yes.
Okay. And so what was her approach? That she just lay in a major tone, like a tone over the whole thing and just work the values from top to bottom all at the same time?
More or less, yeah. She was rendering the full figure
Oh, that's
one
interesting,
thing at
man.
a
I got to
time.
get her on here and talk to her about that.
Absolutely. I mean, more like the 19th century. They
Hmm.
would, they would have competitions, and they had very little time to fully make a figure with charcoal or graphite, and the results are the best because you have the energy, the energy of a sketch, the
Yeah.
strokes,
More fluidity, more gesture.
more fluid, everything. It just works better and has more life. I mean, and she knows how to create that effect, and she mastered it, and
Mm-hmm.
and she started teaching it.
So she brought that to the Grand Central Academy.
I think she brought that to the, yes, yes,
Wow, they're lucky that she did that. That's quite an
absolutely,
asset.
absolutely.
Wow. So you knew that you wanted to study with her,
Uh-huh.
but did you know, was it her work that made you interested, or did you know in advance that she had the tools to
It
teach
was
you
her
how to be an
work.
efficient painter?
Oh, it
Okay.
was her work. I mean, at the time, she had her portfolio was figures, just
Hmm.
figure drawings and figure
Mm-hmm.
paintings, portrait paintings. And I thought I need to learn from her. I mean, she has the best work I've seen in my
Mm-hmm.
life.
Mm-hmm.
So if she's teaching there, I just need to go. But yeah, it was her figure drawings, figure paintings, portraits.
Wow. Dude, you've had some real breaks. I'm, in talking to you about your history from, I mean, forgive the pun, but you broke your arm, which set you on a
Yes.
path to draw more often, to study on your own. Then you had this eye thing that, went viral, which is amazing. And then you went to Chicago. You were going to go to Chicago. You might have ended up in
Uh-huh.
Chicago making noodle necklaces and,
Yeah.
jumping naked into canvases, but but you
Uh-huh. That
couldn't
would be
afford it
fun.
and you got lucky. Yeah. But you couldn't afford it. So you ended up accidentally, like not accidentally, but you ended up having to search deeper. So then you end up at
Right.
Angel. I mean, and then you discover Colleen and you don't even realize she can teach you how to draw efficiently. And she is the one to teach you how to draw efficiently. Like,
Uh-huh. But
do you recognize all
the
the
work
lucky
what
breaks that you've gotten?
oh, I know, my
It's like
friend.
you've got an angel
I
on your
know.
shoulder, man.
Absolutely, I do. Yes.
That's incredible.
Yeah, man. It's
Well,
been crazy.
and not to
It's
mention
been really crazy.
the genetic blessing that you have because you were already doing good work as a kid or as a teenager, which is
Yeah.
remarkable.
But let me tell you one thing. My, in all these breaks that you are saying,
Mm-hmm.
they seem like jumps, like jump into the unknown.
Right.
My mom was always behind my thoughts. She was always telling me, you know what, just do it, just jump. If this
Mm-hmm.
is really what you need to do, what you want to do, if you're sure, you just need to jump and believe in yourself.
Dude, there's another 2 lucky breaks, mom and dad.
Yes.
That's amazing, man.
Yes,
Amazing
but
that your parents were so supportive.
absolutely, I'm very lucky. And every day I think about it, every day. I'm very conscious of that. Yes. And I am grateful always, always, always.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, they're lucky to have you as a son too, because
Oh man.
the fact that you show that gratitude and respect and you worked hard with their money, like all those
Absolutely.
things, I'm sure
And you
they
know
really
what?
appreciate.
Yes, yes, yes. I try to show them that I appreciate it,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's great. Do you
But
have,
you know, tell me, sorry.
um, I was, I was just going to ask if you have siblings.
I have two little brothers and one sister.
And what did they all end up doing?
My sister is a tattoo artist.
Oh, no kidding. Another artist.
Yes.
Okay.
Uh-huh. Yeah. And my two brothers are still studying.
Okay. They're young.
Mm.
Gotcha.
But man, with these parents, they're gonna do whatever they want.
Yeah. All right. What
Yes.
were you going to ask or what were you going to say? Sorry, before I
I
rudely
was
cut
gonna
you off.
say that during the Atelier
Mm-hmm.
years, I also felt this pressure of showing them that their support was useful. So Angel Academy, I finished very fast, and then Grand Central Atelier, I tried to finish super fast because it was more expensive.
Okay. But one thing I got to ask you, because I think this is important. When you say you worked fast, you didn't, I know because I've seen your work and I'm obviously familiar with your work. There's no way you were taking shortcuts and speed up the process. What you were doing was just putting in the hours and being disciplined. Am I
Mhm.
wrong?
I looked for shortcuts behind every stone.
Well, when I say shortcuts, I mean compromising. Shortcuts is the wrong term. You weren't compromising your quality and your education in order to get through it quickly. You were,
No, absolutely no.
okay. Because that's the thing,
No, no, no. I would.
oftentimes with students, I'll say, they'll be like, am I ever going to get faster? Am I ever going to get faster? and my process is not a particularly slow one. So, I mean, it's all relative, right? But even my students realize that
Uh-huh.
to be successful, you have to produce, right? A lot of work, or at
Oh
least,
yeah.
yeah. So
Oh yeah.
sometimes they're concerned about that. And I always tell them, don't rush. Like, yeah, maybe you'll find shortcuts, but those shortcuts can't compromise the quality of the work. It can only add
Absolutely no.
efficiency to it. Right. So I'm saying,
Mm.
and then I heard from someone sometime the term slow is fast. And I've always believed that working carefully and slowly and deliberately, you avoid mistakes.
Yeah.
And therefore you get
Yeah.
through it quickly, because it's the mistakes that take all the time.
Yeah. And I actually think the slower you go, but still being efficient. I
Yeah.
don't mean like whatever. No, the slower you go being efficient, the fastest you're gonna get.
Right. Yeah. I agree 100%.
So even if you think you're the slowest, I mean, sometimes I feel like, am I gonna finish this painting ever? But if I do it things slowly, they they are they look good, and I'm happy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then the next step is always is gonna be easier.
Right. Because you're not cleaning up a mess that you made.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Let's look at your work at this point. What is better, your website or Instagram to view your work?
I think Instagram is better.
Okay. Are you familiar with the book by James Gurney? It's called Imaginative Realism.
Yes, but I haven't read it. I don't.
Oh, dude, you
I
got to
know the
get
book.
this book. Okay, here it is, right here. Let me see. Let me see. I should probably have myself in here.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's right here. This is it. It's a funny cover, but
Yeah. I've seen that book. Yes,
yeah,
for
he's
sure.
got, man, this guy, you want to talk about someone who puts imaginative paintings together. I mean, he's got that whole, 30, 40 years of doing dinosaur paintings, right? So, and he's a genius at putting together imaginative work. And he does things like Your Wolf, where he sculpts it and then he'll build little sets and everything. And he also recently sent me this. I haven't read it yet, but it's freaking Artist Guide to Sketching. Yeah, Artist Guide to Sketching.
And that's written by him.
James Gurney's a genius when it comes to imaginative work. So I don't know if that would interest you, but
I've been doing Jeff's online mentorship program for about a year now, and it is awesome. Everything is online, super streamlined. If you can be there, I mean, you have the ability to talk to him once a week and he can review your work and help you. If you can't be there, it's pre-recorded. You can go back and even re-watch things if you missed something during class or couldn't be there. So the online portion of it is almost better than real life because you can always go back to it, which is awesome. The demos are recorded. It's just like all available whenever you need it. And I'm a stay-at-home mom of 4 and my time is limited and it's also very interrupted. And so to be able to go back has been clutch for me. And you get to work with Jeff HEIN, who's awesome. He's tough. The assignments are simple, but difficult, and they're difficult to make us all better. And he's able to give us these assignments, coach us through it, help us stay excited to progress. And so it's just been a great experience. I am so grateful that he has been willing to take time away from his own art to offer all of us to have it. So if you're thinking about doing it, it's amazing.
To learn more about how you could have me as a personal mentor, check out the link to HEINAtelier.com in the show notes or video description.
I know, absolutely, I know, but I feel he knows too much.
He knows too much? What does that mean?
Like I haven't explored his book or his website or his knowledge because I think it's going to be a shock to my brain.
No, dude, you can handle it.
Man.
You can handle it, especially if you're going down this road. I would strongly suggest you read that book. It's so interesting and it's not, I don't know that it's not going to rock your world because you're already kind of doing some of the stuff. So yeah, James Gurney's.
Well, that would be interesting for sure. I know him for a long time. Yeah. I've seen his work.
Yeah. He's quite remarkable, but all right. So yeah, but I thought about it because of this. This is something I can imagine him doing.
I had a lot of fun doing that.
That is a sick little sculpture, man.
Yeah, man.
Cool.
When making these sculptures, I feel like I could, I don't know, cast them in bronze and just create sculptures and just try to sell sculptures and be part of my portfolio,
Yeah.
Because I love doing it.
Is this just from photos of regular wolves and then you distort it out of your imagination?
Mm-hmm. Yes. So the first thing I do is just draw from imagination, and then I sculpt from my drawing.
Okay.
And then I refine using references.
Just to make sure you have the anatomy of the face right and so on.
Right. Yeah.
Dude, that is so cool.
Yeah.
Love that. And you said it here, you're hoping to cast it in bronze. I can't wait to see that.
Man, that would be great, but the bronze is expensive.
It's so expensive, I know. Yeah, but you could probably sell them and pay for it. So
I would love that, yes.
And so there was a painting you did a while back where I swear I thought it was Billie Eilish. Am I crazy?
That was Billie Eilish, yes.
Oh, it was? Where is that painting?
I think it's way down.
Way down. And why? What was it? Is she aware you painted her?
I don't think so. No.
Oh man, she should be, because it was sick. What
But she was.
motivated it?
I mean, I
Right
just
here.
remember seeing this photo on the cover of a magazine or something, and I
Yeah.
just felt, you know what, this face would look crazy with this background.
Dude, you should reach out to her. Maybe oh, you probably have already sold it. Is this long gone?
It's sold, yeah, it is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. I like the attitude. Most of it was the attitude of her.
Yeah, she's got a great face.
Uh-huh. And it went well with the whole fire vibe I wanted to get. Yeah.
So I don't know how to ask this question, but how do you go from an atelier to where it's very academic, it's about making things look like things, to stuff that's so much more design oriented and conceptually heavy?
Well, you know what? Actually, Colleen inspired me to make a break, like to just create whatever I wanted to and leave the atelier instruction behind a little, you know, kind of breaking the chains of the atelier.
So she went through a transformation some years ago too. Was that
She
around
went,
the same time?
it was exactly the same time.
Dude, another lucky break. So you're watching
Bro,
her.
I was
shed
watching
the-
her
Oh my
making it,
gosh.
and I felt like, you know what, I need to take advantage of this because this is never going to happen again. And I felt so inspired. I was in a rush to finish my training because I didn't want my dad to pay more, and I couldn't afford, by selling what I was selling, I couldn't afford living there.
Yeah.
I needed to do something to start earning a living, and I knew I wasn't gonna make it by painting still lifes, portraits, figures, and classical stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I needed to find my style, my voice, my whatever, however you want to call it. I needed to find it fast.
How did you know that? Because a lot of people come out of these schools and do pursue a more classical and traditional approach to painting.
I just knew I couldn't find, I don't know, I couldn't find a way to sell still life or portraits or, you know. Also, I didn't want to. I wanted to make compositions, more design work. I wanted to do something that was more representative of my vision.
Yeah. Was your vision something you already had in your head, or was it something that evolved as you started just putting paint down a canvas?
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it evolved and it's evolving constantly. Yes. And your vision is not even there. You don't see anything. I talk about my vision, but if I close my eyes, sometimes it's all black.
So it comes out in the process. It's not like
it's
you've got a library of images just dying to paint.
Yes and no, because I have thousands and thousands of images, but that I want to use as inspiration.
Well, no, images in your head, not reference, but.
Oh, right.
Right. Images in your head. So do you have a library of paintings that you've already painted in your mind that you want to get down on canvas?
No.
Okay.
No. I just know what I like. So, but now the problem is how do I transfer this that I like into a painting that is beautiful, that I like, that I'm happy with, that it's at the standard that I want to be in, that is the quality I want it to be. So that's the difficult part.
Yeah. Amen to that.
Yeah.
So can you put into words what it was that you like? What attributes are you looking for in your work? that aren't in just classical painting and drawing, in academic painting and drawing?
That's very difficult. But
It's probably
I
not a
think
fair question.
no, I don't know. No, it's not fair. But I think I can say that I like to feel emotion when I look at a work of art. The emotion of the composition, the thing that is happening in the painting, and also feeling emotion about the technique. Because sometimes you just see a technique that is so well done that you feel something, that you feel like, I don't know, like your soul is full.
Yeah.
So I want my work to have both. I want it to be something interesting to look at, like a composition that hits you in the face, and also that is well made, and also that is alive. I like the painting to be alive. I like to get close to the canvas and see texture, and see the canvas texture, and see the process, and see layers. I don't like when I get close to a painting and it's all flat and you don't see the brush strokes.
Yeah, I
Looks
agree.
like so there are many things that I try to achieve, and they are very difficult on their own. And trying to mix them is insane. That's why I've always felt like paralyzed, because I knew that I had a high standard for myself, for the work I wanted to create, but I never felt capable of achieving it. Now I don't know if I'm going to be capable, but at least I'm fully committed to try.
Yeah. If you don't feel capable, I mean, what changed in you that made you no longer paralyzed creatively, yet you still feel, while you still feel somewhat incompetent, or somewhat incompetent's not the right word.
No, but maybe I don't have the right tools yet, or the tools that I need yet.
Yeah. Yeah. Somewhat insufficient, maybe is a better word. You feel somewhat insufficient. And yet now you have the bravery to go to the canvas. What is it? Is there something that you've acquired, something you're putting your confidence in that helps you to approach the canvas that you didn't have before?
Yes, absolutely. Yes. I think I've come to the realization that making this kind of work that has always been present, but I've always ignored, it is the only way I can do good paintings, or I can do work that I'm happy with.
Yeah.
And I've realized that the only way I'm going to continue painting is by being happy with the work I'm doing, or at least with trying to get to that point. So if I'm not happy, I'm not going to paint anymore. And I know that this is the only way I can go, and this way is going to make me happy. So it's like whatever it takes. If it goes well, it goes well. If not, then at least I tried. And you know, last year I had a baby.
Hey, congrats, man. Boy or girl?
And I think it's a boy, Hector.
Awesome.
And I think that changed also my way of looking at my own work and my philosophy. And I don't know, I think that had to do with all this mental change.
Yeah. Were you 29 when
Just
you had your kid?
I was 29, yeah.
That's when I had my first.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Man, good luck.
Yeah, I think now
awesome.
I wanted to take it more seriously and just try.
Do you feel an added sense of pressure now that you have a kid to make it work? Yeah.
Yeah.
It changes things a bit, doesn't it?
Absolutely. But even more, I want to try this, because if I don't try now, I don't know. I don't think it's going to work ever.
I have a feeling it's going to work well. So tell me about your creative process when you approach a painting. like this, I mean, I wouldn't even know where to start. Do you start with a head that inspires you? Do you start with a theme? Do you start with a background that inspires you? All the above?
First, I think is the face, the attitude that I want to get in the painting. It's on the face, on the portrait, and after I have a portrait, then everything comes into place. So I use Procreate, and I just put the portrait, and I start just sketching, and it's not a effective way maybe of doing it, but it's the only way I know how to do it. Just try and error and fail. Try until it works.
So you just start throwing shapes back here, and then eventually you're like, oh, maybe some sort of an Asian drapery design at some point.
Oh no, but that, I mean, I do that in some paintings, but this one was actually a tapestry, medieval tapestry.
That's not Asian?
No, I think it's
oh gosh, I'm so clueless. I thought that looked okay.
I mean,
well,
they
either
look
way,
Asian, but
either way. So do you look for references that work with the face, or do you start doodling until something sort of comes out of the chaos and then find references that fit what you've doodled?
yeah, sometimes both.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, and sometimes I just find a portrait. Sometimes it comes to me a photo, a tapestry that I know that would look great, and I just start mixing it and trying to make a little collage and adding things on top and draw with Procreate. And in the end, yeah, it's a weird mix.
So beautiful. So beautiful.
And then when you paint, then the reference changes because you put more texture on one side. I mean, I like to have the freedom of using the paint as I want, not follow the reference as like 100%.
Mm-hmm.
So most of it happens directly on the canvas.
Right. So you just got sort of a rough graphic composition worked out in Procreate.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Some of these things are so bold, like the way you basically chopped off her arms.
Yeah.
And
at first looks really weird.
Well,
sure.
I didn't even notice it until a few minutes ago, and then, or not even like 30 seconds ago, but it doesn't bother me at all, but it's such an interesting decision.
It kind of looks like a poncho or a tunic or like an ancient robe. Or
yeah, it does. And the way you use transparency with opacity is just beautiful. How this is just a transparent wash. It's also a pretty bold decision.
Well, that came because I saw, I don't know if it was Michael Klein.
Mm-hmm.
And he was explaining, like, for a painting to be interesting, it has to have many different things like texture, transparency, darks, whites, contrast. It had to have like a abstract part or a more refined figurative part, and then playing with the color extremes. How do you say the color?
Complements?
Complementary colors.
Mm-hmm.
Like it had to have all these things to be interesting.
So contrast in the amount of paint, the texture of paint, contrast in color, contrast in value, basically just diversity is what you're after.
Diversity, absolutely. Yeah. And as much as you can, diversity. Yes. And make it look like it's all part of the same thing.
Okay, so you hit on something there. So you're balancing a lot of diversity while maintaining harmony. Because a lot of people to maintain harmony, and frankly, I would even argue that Michael Klein has done this many times. They'll simplify and reduce the diversity in a painting in order to maintain harmony. Like, for example, he did a whole series in Costa Rica. Was it Costa Rica or Argentina? I can't remember, but
I think Argentina.
Argentina, when he lived down there, and he did all these paintings in that old studio of his, of flowers against a brick wall or whatever. And they were all very muted and they were gorgeous, but they were muted, and the values were relatively close together. They were generally low chroma, and it created this beautiful harmony in the painting.
Right, but maybe he had a part of the painting where it was transparent, and then the other was opaque, and then very subtle he had a green, and then very subtle he had a red in another part of the painting. So he's playing there with color, and then you have a light shape in a dark area, and a dark shape in a light area, and a light shape. Am I saying it correctly?
Yeah, I think so. But you're really,
you know what I mean?
You're really exploiting diversity in materials, in value, in chroma, in color contrast, you're pushing it a lot and maintaining harmony. And that's not an easy thing to do. I mean, I'm assuming that's something that's on your mind all the time. And so you don't want these things to get out of control.
Yeah, absolutely. You're just keeping them like in the same place. You don't want it to explode.
Right.
But I think it's more difficult to make that when having like a more simple color palette or a simple composition.
You think it's harder with a simpler color palette?
Maybe.
Oh, interesting. I don't know. I would have thought it'd be easier, but who knows? I guess that's sort of a subjective thing, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Man, another gorgeous face. Is this a model you know, or someone that you got online?
She's I think I also saw it in a magazine. She's a Argentinian singer.
Okay. Do you use famous people a lot?
No, I used to. Now I don't.
No. So now do you photograph your own models? Okay. Yeah, she's beautiful.
Well, my only model is my wife, Aida. So.
Oh, well, so show us your wife. Is this your wife here? Where's your wife?
It's the last post with the baby.
So that's it. You're only going to paint your wife from here on out?
Well, I don't know. Maybe.
That's awesome, man. Let's see that most recent post. Let me do this the easier way here. How long have you been married?
A few months.
Hey, congrats, man. Yeah, man, you got some life changes happening.
This year was crazy for me.
I guess so.
So
how is it painting your wife? How does your wife like being painted?
I think she likes it when the painting succeeds, she likes it.
Yeah, my wife does not like being painted.
I mean,
I can't flatter. My wife is not vain at all. She's very down to earth, but like all of us, we're hard on our own faces. So it's hard for me to paint.
Oh yeah.
If I make let's put it this way, the more it looks like her, the worse it is.
Oh yeah. I mean, she would tell me, that's not me. And this other painting, that's not me. But then I paint her sometime and she's like, yep, that's it. And I'm like, yes.
Nice.
But I mean, I think I saw sides of her that she doesn't see. So for me, it's a different version of her.
Well, and in a way it literally is, because she only sees herself in a mirror.
Absolutely.
You know, and people look different in reverse.
Absolutely. Yep.
I had an experience, I don't know, it was maybe a year ago, maybe a little more. I was doing a self-portrait and my kids and my wife showed up at the studio. and they came up to me, and I'm sitting there painting, looking in the mirror. They're like, something's off about it. And I was like, and I'm not always this confident, but I was confident I'd nailed it. Like, it was spot on.
See?
And they're like, no, I think something's off. I'm like, I'm telling you, it's not. It's spot
Like, this
on.
is not you.
And so
Who did
here's
you
what
paint?
happened though. So then I said, look, because I'm very asymmetrical. I said, come look at me in the mirror. Look over my shoulder and look at me in the mirror. And then they came over. They came over and looked over my shoulder at myself in the mirror, and they're like, oh, that is you. You did nail it. You don't look the same in the mirror. Like, no, I don't.
Hey man, I have a portrait like that, and nobody thinks it's me. They're like, no, that's not you. You've
That
never
might
been
be
like
why.
that. But for me, it's great. For me, I think I did well, but nobody likes it. No, that's not you. Who's that?
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right. So maybe.
Well, because I have a huge ego, because I have an ego and I don't want people to say that's not you. I got a mirror that's a non-reversing mirror. It like flips your face, so it's actually what everyone else sees, and it's really disconcerting. It's like let me see if I can look one up. It's really wild, man. It's
crazy.
Non-reverse. The irony is it's actually not a non-reversing mirror. A mirror doesn't reverse you, but we won't get into that. But okay, this is it. It's something.
Oh, it has a couple of mirrors.
Has a couple of mirrors set at like a 45-degree angle.
And then you get the actual image.
Yeah. And then it sort of flips the image. And so it's something like this. This isn't the one I have, but it's something like this. Dude, first time I looked in that thing, I did not like what I saw. Oh my gosh. I was like,
hey, I'm not going to buy that. Never in my life.
I was like, I am hideous. That is not my face. It was really disconcerting. And then all my students looked at it, and all the symmetrical people in the room were like, yeah, that's me. I'm like, you suck.
Shit.
But if you're asymmetrical,
ever I'm going to get that.
Yeah, if you're asymmetrical at all, and like my nose is crooked, I look in the mirror, my nose is the other direction, and I'm like, what is happening?
Oh, no. Forget about it. My mouth is like this, and my nose is like this. And no.
Yeah, but if you got a big ego and you want people to know you know how to paint, you might need the reversing mirror, man. So
that's interesting.
So next
time, I will put it in my notes.
Next time I do a self-portrait, I'm going to use this. Even though I don't like what I see, I'm going to use this so that people can't say, that's not you.
That's weird. I didn't know that existed.
Yeah, it's wild. Anyway, all right. So so this is an amazing, this must have been a really moving, I'm assuming there's a lot of emotional content in this painting. It's you and your new baby, or your wife and your new baby. Sure. Tell me about the meaning behind it. What's the wolf represent?
You know, at first it was just kind of a dark shape surrounding them, like a protect, like a. I felt like they need to be surrounded by something, so I painted just a shape, just like as a protection, a house or
shelter, some kind.
A shelter, exactly. And then the idea of the wolf came, and I just drew a sketch of the wolf, and I liked it, and I felt it was perfect because it's a wolf that it's also a mother, so she's taking care of them. Like she takes care of her own cubs or pups. So yeah, I felt like this shelter had to be alive. It had to be a beast that protects them, something strong that would protect them against anything.
That's really cool. Are you going to be able to sell this?
I hope.
No, I mean, I know you'll be able to. Are you going to be able to emotionally let this thing go?
I have to. Even if I don't want to, I have to.
No, we can't afford to keep our own paintings. It's ridiculous.
I can't afford it. I would love to. I mean, and she loves it. My wife loves that painting.
Yeah,
I would love to keep it for sure. But yeah, man. So I also feel happy to let it go.
Yeah, I guess you have a photo of it. That's something. So, tell me about this. You said, so this is an idealized figure, you said, right?
Yeah. Yes.
What,
Yes.
tell me about that process. Are you using a model and then pushing the anatomy
so
a little bit, or what are you doing?
I've never used a model,
That's out of
only
your
in
head,
school. No, that's me.
but you're the model.
I'm the model. Yeah. So this is the first time I'm using me as a model.
Did you photograph yourself?
I photographed myself with my iPhone, and then I pushed the anatomy because
Dude,
I'm a
you
little
even look
fat
half
now.
that good. You're looking good, man.
No, because I'm very fat, and now I'm trying to chisel the muscles
Right. So
in the painting.
so you used yourself as just a general form, and then you're exaggerating the anatomy on top of that. This episode is brought to you in part by Rosemary Brushes. If you're one of my listeners who's a professional artist, you're already using Rosemary Brushes. But for the rest of you, come on, take your work a little more seriously. Stop buying the other brands. It's just not worth it. Every now and then you may get lucky and buy a good brush from another brand, but use the brand that professionals like myself are using. Go to rosemaryandco.com, link in the description or the show notes, and get yourself some quality brushes before your next painting.
I'm exaggerating the anatomy, and I'm going to change the face for a sculpture that I'm going to make.
Wow. Yeah, that's beautifully drawn. That's graphite.
That's graphite, yeah. Thank you.
And you got this wolf head again. Is this a theme?
And then I think so. I think that's a theme. The wolf has been present a lot in my mind recently. Well, actually, for a long time. But now it's coming out because I'm painting things that I'm really, I don't know, I really like. So.
Oh, so this is the composition.
The story. That's the composition. That's the story. So in the story, he thinks she's a wolf and he's trying to kill the wolf, but in reality, it was only a mask. So she had a mask and she looked like the wolf.
Yikes. Is this a real fable of some kind?
So just something I invented.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting. That's going to be
so
a really
in the
cool painting.
At the time he kills her, he realizes she's not the wolf.
Jeez, that's heavy, man.
So there's a little story behind every piece, and I think this is new to me because normally I just created images for just to make a beautiful image, but not with a lot of story behind them.
Wow. Okay, so now it's making sense. So you've got this is your vision, and then now you're working on just figuring out the perfect anatomy for this particular vision. And then with her, what's your process there? I'm assuming she's not going to be all muscle bound and ripped.
No, I mean, I took photos of my wife, and then I'm gonna idealize the face somehow. Maybe I do another sculpture. So I don't think it's gonna be her face, but she's gonna be the model for that figure.
Yeah, I would just I've been married a long time, and I would not say that you're idealizing your wife's face.
No, right?
I would say something like it's already ideal and people just won't believe it. It's too perfect. No one will believe it.
Yeah, you can just cut this from the podcast. That will be great.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's great, man. That's going to be awesome. What the heck? So you sculpted on the end of a palette knife?
Yeah.
And that's just oil-based clay as well?
Oil-based clay, yeah.
That is tiny, man.
Because I don't have much clay, and clay is very expensive.
No, you don't. That's like that's like the size of your thumbnail. Do you want me to send you some clay?
Oh, please. So if I had more clay, I would do like a full-size mask.
Is it really that expensive in Spain?
Yeah, I mean it's expensive for now. Yeah.
Wow, that's so tiny. Holy moly.
So you just use what you can, right? Use what you
Yeah.
have and make it work.
Good for you, dude. That's
But
awesome.
now comes the problem because I want that mask to be kind of bronze, like metallic. So that's
Oh,
another
that,
big
how are you gonna
challenge.
do that?
How do? Yeah, that's I don't know.
Oof.
Mm.
Bronze. Hmm.
I know there's a clay that turns into bronze or silver.
Yeah, but it's still not going to reflect light the same way because it's particles of bronze and silver.
So you think it's gonna be matte?
Well, I think it'll just sparkle weird. Like it won't, you know what I mean? It's not, it's like when you have silver paint, it never turns to chrome. It's always just sort of like a
Yeah,
sparkly silver because of all the
yeah.
tiny silver particles.
Hmm.
Dang man, I wish you lived closer. I'd help you cast it.
Oh, well, that would be amazing.
Too bad you're all the way in Spain.
Yeah.
That's
Oh
yeah,
my
how
God.
are you gonna do that?
No idea.
That's tricky.
Because how do you do it? I mean, you can just invent the shiny parts. I don't know. I don't know.
That'd be really hard. I mean, how shiny do you want it? You don't want it like
It's
chrome, do
no,
you?
no, no.
More like bronze.
More like an old bronze mask that has been laying in the ground for a long time, and it's like
Oh.
old.
Oh, well, bronze doesn't really shine too much.
I don't know. I was thinking bronze, like spray paint, and spray paint
Yeah, it might
the
work with
clay.
bronze.
I don't know.
It'll
I
probably
don't
work
know.
with bronze. I can't, but if you were doing like a more of a chrome like finish, that would be, I wouldn't even know where to start with that. But
So
bronze,
that's what's I don't know.
hmm,
Yeah, because bronze is more
it's not
like what
reflective.
more. It's not as reflective. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not reflective.
Yeah, especially if it's got a patina on it. It's, yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So
Wow.
let's see. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll pull it off. That's cool.
Yeah. But
Um,
the problem will be to make an actual armor, like a full body armor, because that thing reflects. That's shiny.
are you gonna make it?
No, I don't. I can't. How are you gonna? How do you make that look real?
I mean,
I mean,
well, without making it, you mean?
without owning one.
Um, that'd be hard.
Hmm.
That'd be really
But
hard.
I looked it up. A full armor is like 6,000 euros maybe. So I think I will get first, the hands. Maybe next year I will get the shoes, and maybe in 10 years I can have a full body armor.
Yeah, that'd be pretty sick. Is there a
Mhm.
particular kind of armor, like a particular part of the world you're looking for?
No idea. I think just I don't know. No idea.
Because
I think I
you know,
will end up working with a craftsman and just designing something, and I don't know.
yeah, it's funny that we're talking about this because lately I like to make stuff. I've got a great shop here at my
I
studio.
know you do. Yeah, I know.
And lately I've been on this metalworking kick where I've been watching YouTube videos of people making things like armor and like making bowls out of
Yeah.
sheet metal and just pounding all that stuff into shape. And it
Right, because the
doesn't,
helmet is a plate and you just hammer
yeah,
it,
you just
right?
hammer it. It doesn't look that hard. Now, now I'm not saying I could do a good a job as like a real armor maker, but I'm just saying it's not like complex tools. It's just a
Hmm.
variety of hammers, maybe a wood stump, maybe a bag with sand in it. And, and it's amazing what people can do with very little tools with manipulating metal. I don't know. You should just jump on YouTube and look at it. You might be able to at least fake it, like make like pieces of the armor and not the whole thing, and then fake the
Uh-huh.
rest.
Uh-huh.
But it's funny.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because you only
I've
need.
been going down that rabbit hole lately, coincidentally.
All right. Okay. Everything is on YouTube now, right?
Dude, everything's on YouTube. If you
Shit.
could learn how to do anything on YouTube, it's the
Mm,
best time to be alive if you're a curious person
yeah,
and
it's
like to make
insane.
things. It's wild.
I mean, maybe that will be one way to do it for sure. Because maybe you only need you only need a piece of metal that it resembles the piece you want to
Right.
create. Because you
And
want the shine, the light
right, you put the
hitting it,
details on.
and then
And
you put the detail.
right. And the thing is, these metal can be cut with tin snips. Just like you don't even need power
I've
tools.
seen that. I've seen that. Yeah, the little yeah.
Yeah. Just tin snips, a few hammers, a sandbag, a stump, and just go to town.
Man, maybe you resolved my life now. I don't know.
I might be
Maybe
oversimplifying it. I'm no expert. I've only watched a couple of YouTube videos, but I'll tell you
we'll
what,
see.
man, I've made a lot of stuff from watching a couple of YouTube videos. It's amazing what you can do.
Hell yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah, man. I
you
saw
should
you
do
made
it.
knives too.
Yeah, I'm
That's
not
crazy.
great at it, but yeah, I made a forge a while back, and it's a
Holy
blast,
shit.
man. It's a blast.
Yeah,
Anyway,
that
yeah,
should be
you should
fun.
try it. You should try it. So what about this guy? Oh,
That
you have a helmet.
I have a helmet. That's the only thing I have.
Oh, really? Dude, you
Yes.
got to try and make one. I want to see you make one. You can do it.
You think yes,
You
I
can do
can.
it.
I will.
I think you can
Absolutely.
do it. I mean, how hard
I
could it
will
be?
definitely try. I mean, that's a good idea. Instead of spending 6,000 euros, 10,000 euros
Yeah.
on one.
I mean, this is my attitude. I've said this many times, and I don't know how many times I've said it on the podcast, so forgive me for those listening, but dude, painting is the hardest thing I've ever done. So when I try new things, like if I were to try to make armor or something, there's going to be a learning curve. But
Uh-huh.
dude, if you can paint like that, I have a feeling
In
you're
the end,
you're
it's
going to be able
gonna.
to figure out how to bend some metal. Like I'm not saying
Yeah,
it's
it sounds
easy.
fun.
I'm not saying it's easy, but I bet you can do a good job at it.
Yeah, and you know what? I've always felt curiosity for every little material, like tattooing. I wanted to be a tattoo artist because
Yeah.
I felt curiosity. What can I do with a tattoo machine? And then with sculpture, and then with sculpture with different materials, with
Yeah,
stone
you
or
sculpt it
marble
with
or wood.
clay. All you're doing is sculpting with metal. That's it.
Right? But what I don't want is to spend, I mean, is to spend my energy into something that is not painting, because I feel like painting, as you said, is the most difficult thing I've done.
Yeah.
And it
Well, that's the
requires so
trade-off.
much.
That's a real
But
problem because I can get
I mean,
really distracted by making stuff, and it's a problem.
oh, you spend months doing things. I started doing jewelry. I
Yeah.
made rings, gold rings, and I loved it. And I forgot about painting because I loved it so
You
much.
know, it's a problem. Yeah, that happens to me too. Yeah, but at least with
But
your making armor, you're making it as a means to an end, right? It's not like you're just making a new hobby or creating a new hobby for yourself as an armor maker. It's a
you know
means
what
to
is
an
the
end.
perfect excuse? Is the perfect excuse to get a new
Yeah,
hobby.
exactly. Well, you know what my next project is? I'm doing a Bible painting, which is all I'm doing right now, but it's probably going to be, it might be Christ walking on water or Simon
Hostia.
with the fishes, which means I'm going to be building a 4-foot scale boat.
Hostia.
And and I'm going to make it, it's all going to be made out of wood, and it's going to be perfectly scale and exactly the way the boats were made in
Oh
Israel
my
back at the
God,
time
man,
of Christ.
that's insane.
So
No
it'll
way.
be months. I'll be working on a thing for months probably, but it's going to be so much fun. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah.
But I've got all these little dummies and maquettes that sit in the boat, and they're 1/6 scale. So 4 feet. These boats are typically around 24 feet.
Oh, that's gonna be
So
great.
4 feet is
Yeah.
1/6 scale. So yeah.
That's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, dude, you're
And I know how fun it is.
it is. It
It
is.
takes a long time, but it's fun. And then when you paint, it's easy because you have it in front of you.
Yeah, I couldn't do it. I can't make this stuff up. And I'm not ready to move into like AI and that kind of stuff. Like,
Oof, that's a oof.
yeah, I'm not ready. I'm not, I'm going to go above that. I'll never be ready to do AI. That's just my own thing.
No,
So
I think
I have to build it.
I think if you go with the AI path, you are going into something completely different.
Yeah.
I think you're doing something, yeah, we're not talking about that.
No, it's a different craft at that point. I'm not interested in it.
It's a different craft, absolutely. It's just
Mhm.
something that is not this. This is different.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, you could do, like I said, I've searched for shortcuts everywhere. And at one point, I wanted to see if AI would help me achieve my references. But man, if you try to fix an AI image, it's more difficult to fix the image than to make it with clay.
Oh, is it really?
I mean, because
It won't be
and
that
then
way
you
for
get,
long, though.
I know,
It's
but you
going to
know
get
what happens
better.
with AI? You start you start losing your vision and you get the vision of the AI because it gives you so many ideas, so many colors, so many compositions. It gives you absolutely everything very fast. And
Yeah.
suddenly you had one idea that you loved, but now with AI, you had 400.
Gosh.
And what do you
Yeah.
do? Then my mind went crazy and I said, you know what? I'm not even gonna try because some stuff that it makes is beautiful. I mean, if you spend time researching how to do it and finding the right programs, the right prompts, you can
Yeah.
create some beautiful stuff.
Well, there's an artist on Instagram that I used to follow that his work all of a sudden went from good to great. And a lot of people I know followed this guy. And then all of a sudden, everyone realized he was doing AI. And
I've seen many people doing that.
yeah, and he wasn't hiding it. It's just people don't read. You know, I don't read. A lot of
Hmm.
people don't read. We just look at the picture, like it, move on.
Hmm.
But I don't know. There's just something about doing it with your own hands. Like, I don't know. I don't think I'll ever be ready to let a computer think for me.
I think that's what it is. You're giving the work to the computer and you're losing yourself. You're losing
Mm-hmm.
pieces of you
Yeah,
and
that's
you're
how I feel.
introducing pieces of the computer into your work. So, but you know, at this point, anyone can do that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone can go online and create thousands of images, beautiful images with AI, but nobody can do what you have in your mind. And if you start relying on AI to make your work is going to become nothing,
Yeah.
nothing, because there's so much of it already.
Yeah, it's a crazy
I
time
don't
we
know.
live in. Crazy
Yeah.
time.
But as you said, it's going to get better.
Yeah. And a lot of artists are going to start adopting it. It's going to be interesting. See what happens.
Yeah, absolutely.
I predict there'll be a time when people are buying art that's not AI generated or even AI assisted just for that reason.
I think so too.
Where it gets to a point where people are like, I want something created by a human. I'm tired of all this digital crap. Not digital crap. Because I know there's great digital work. I have nothing against digital work. But what I mean is I'm tired of everything being digital. Like I want something made entirely by a human being.
Entirely. Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
word.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And I'm not talking
I
about
think so
like
too.
Procreate and stuff. That's still made by a human being. It's just a different type of paint. I'm talking about computer generated images. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. Anyway. All right. Well, let's see. Let's look at a couple more of your works here. God, your ability to capture expressions and capture faces is just incredible, man. These old ladies look so good. Do you have any details here? Yeah.
Yeah, a couple of them.
So great. Huh.
But you know, I think I was trying to mix the black and white paintings that I did, only like
Mm-hmm.
use, you know, the shapes.
Yeah.
with something more like with the future paintings I want to make,
That's what
like
you were
more
doing here.
narrative. Yeah. So that's something in between my black and white paintings and what I want to do in the future.
Dude, I wish I had
It's
half
kind
your
of in the middle.
imagination. You got such a great imagination. So cool. Your compositions are just really cool. Let's look at this one. And is Klimt one of your favorite artists?
Absolutely.
I had a feeling. I mean, your work doesn't look
Yeah.
like Klimt, but I can see the
Yeah.
influence for sure.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Wow. Well,
He's amazing. I mean, he he pushed the ideal very far because he made idealized bodies or like very expressive figures, and I can see that he explored that for a long time because he ended up making like his own style, his own anatomy, his own color, like his own faces. It's completely from imagination. I'm sure he had models, but the faces and all
he
the
flattened them
thing,
out.
how he drew these figures, that all comes from his head.
Yeah, he was quite the academic painter, though. Like
Absolutely.
that's what's so remarkable about him is he could paint anything.
Mm,
Look at those beautiful textures.
yeah.
Yeah, that's great. So what would you say is your favorite painting here on your page? I'm curious that you've done.
Oh, I think the last one.
The first one on the page
Yeah.
with your wife.
Yes.
So see, we don't get to see the finished piece though.
No, not yet.
Oh, you're just toying with us right here.
Ah, yes.
Just toying with us, dude. Yeah, but I can get a
Yeah,
sense
we'll
for
see.
it. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right, man. The color is really subdued in this one.
It's pale, yeah. And sometimes the color just happens. I didn't realize that painting was gonna be purple and yellow until
Wait, there's purple in there?
yeah.
Oh yeah, right down here. That's purple. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
It's just a very muted purple.
It's muted, yeah.
Yeah, that's Karen Offit said stunning. I agree with that. It's fun to see my guests commenting on your
Yeah,
Adrian
it's
Stein. So beautiful.
crazy.
Yeah.
Adrian.
Yeah, this is
Oh man.
well, this has been fun, man. It's great to get to know you.
Absolutely.
I've been, like I said, I've been following you forever, so it's really cool to actually know who you are as a person, a little bit about your life and your story. It's been fun, really cool.
It's been great.
Yeah, and you really do have a great life. It'd be. I mean, your parents seem just remarkable. So
Yeah, just trying to take the example and apply it.
yeah,
I mean, me with my own kid.
yeah, I'm sure you'll be a good, awesome dad.
Let's see.
Well,
Let's
hey
see,
man, so I always ask the same question at the end of these things, and that is, if you could give one piece of advice to an aspiring artist that you had and really valued or you wish you had, what would it be?
Oh man. I would like, when I was studying, I felt pressure to do something fast, to create work, good work very fast. But I would say that things take a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to be just patient and trust yourself.
Yeah.
And if you believe in something, if you really like something, if you believe something is for you, just go chase after it. Even if it seems weird, or if nobody feels you, if nobody sees your vision, but you do, and you absolutely do, just trust yourself and be patient. That's what I think kept me in the same path.
So did that
Actually,
happen
it's
to
keeping
you?
me.
Did people say what you can do is not going to sell or not going to work?
Well, I would say that to myself. Still, I say that to myself.
But you tell yourself to ignore those feelings and push forward.
So if you tell it to yourself, ignore it. But if somebody else tells you, also ignore it. Like, you have to trust yourself. That's the only way. Just make work that you're happy with.
Dude, that's great
Doesn't matter what it is.
The reason I asked that if someone told you that is because when I was just learning to paint and coming, through college, then I dropped out of college, and then my first year trying to become a painter, I was doing these life-size figures, and people were like, you can't, artists were telling me this. They're like, you are crazy. You can't sell life-size figures to complete strangers. I mean, they were big, like full-length figures. And I'm like, but that's what I want to do. And I was looking at Wayne Thiebaud at the time and doing things that were sort of kind of pop artish. Anyway, everyone told me that. Artists, all my artist friends would tell me, you can't do this, you can't do it. Even the ones that were successful, you can't do it, you can't do it. And I'm like, well, I don't want to do anything else. So I pushed forward, I did that thing, and that thing is what carried my career for the first 5 or 6 years. Like, it absolutely worked.
Crazy.
Absolutely worked.
That is absolutely crazy. And sometimes people saying no, actually, it's a good thing, because it means that you're doing something original or honest, or you're doing
true.
you. So maybe that's actually a good thing to wait for. I don't know.
Yeah,
but that's great,
either.
Man.
Yeah. Well, thanks again, man. It's been fun. If you ever come to the States, it'd be great to meet you in person.
I would love to see your studio, man. Yes, that would be great.
Yeah, we'll like bang some metal together, make some armor.
Hell yeah. I will show you my new armor for sure.
Yeah. All right, man. Thanks again.
Thanks, my friend.
Thanks for tuning in to the Undraped Artist Podcast. If you enjoyed it, subscribe. And if you could, leave a comment or review. That really helps the channel. Please share the show with your friends, and if you're feeling generous, consider a monthly donation at theundrapedartist.com. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you next week.